Lesson 71, percent change of dimensions. So if we're getting bigger, we call that a dilation. We take a percent of the original, which is always 100%, and we're going to add the percent of increase. If we're getting smaller, that's called a reduction or contraction. In that case, we take the percent of original, which is 100%, and we're going to subtract the percent of decrease. So here's an example where we would use this. What percent of increase is the area of a figure that has been dilated by 20%? Okay, so we want to remember that it's area. Okay, so we're going to have to square our scale factor at some point. So it's been increased by 20%. We take our original 100%, we're going to add 20%. That's 120%. The new figure is 120% more than, times the original. So we change this to a fraction. So I'm going to put a little here, not fraction, a decimal. So this percent as a decimal is 1.2. Because it's area, we have to square it. So we multiply 1.2 by 1.2, we get 1.44. The new area, so now you do as a percent, is 144% bigger than the old one. 144% of the old one. So if you take away the original, it increased by 44%. So there's a 44% increase. So you have to add the percent, change it as a decimal, square it because it's area, change that to a percent, and then take off the original. So it increased by 44%. Let's do the same problem, but reduce by 20% instead of make it bigger. So same problem, but reduce by 20%. So we're going to take our 100%, we're going to take away 20%, because when it reduced, we're taking it away. That's 80%. As a decimal, that's 0.8, times it by itself to get 0.64. Now it reduced to 64% of the original. So this is as a percent. So we're going to take the original and subtract off 64%. So the total is a 36% decrease. So we're going to look at finding a scale factor. So find a scale factor. So if we have a box that's 1 by 1 square and we increase it to 3 by 3, the scale factor, you guys have to know that factor means multiply. What are we multiplying by to go from 1 to 3? So if we're going from 1 to 3, the scale factor is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So if the perimeter of the first one is 4, we times it by 3, and the new perimeter will be 12. If the area is 1, we're going to times by 3 squared, because the area we square the scale factor. So the new area will be 9. So here's an example. If we had a 10 by 10 square and we reduce it to a 6 by 6. Basically, we want to find the scale factor. What do we multiply 10 by to get 6? So 10 by what scale factor equals 6? So the scale factor is 6/10 or 0.6. That's what the scale factor is going to be. So the area for the scale factor is going to be 0.36 times the first one, or 36%. So we could take our 100%, what it started at, take away the 30%, 36% that it reduced, and you get 64%. So the area of the second square will be 64% less than the area of the first one. And that's the end of the lesson.